Have you ever opened your eyes in the middle of the night? Not just once, but two, sometimes three times, just to go use the bathroom. And then when morning comes, it feels like you barely rested at all. Across many small towns in the U.S., from Arkansas to Ohio, I've spoken with older men and women who smile gently and say, "It's just what happens with age." But let me tell you something, this isn't just aging. It has a name. In medical terms, waking up multiple times during the night to urinate is called nocturia, and it's more than just a harmless inconvenience. Studies have shown that nocturia disrupts deep sleep, and that broken rest can have far-reaching effects from memory lapses to increased risk of nighttime falls, cardiovascular strain, and even prolonged sadness or emotional exhaustion. It might seem like a minor issue, something to simply accept. But here's the truth. When your body never reaches the deep, healing phases of sleep, your health doesn't just slow down. It slowly unravels without you even realizing it. Have you ever woken up after 8 hours in bed, only to feel foggy, groggy, and still tired? That's what happens when your sleep is interrupted over and over. The good news, for most older adults, nocturia isn't caused by a serious illness. It's usually the result of small daily habits that have quietly crept in over time. And better still, these habits can be shifted, gently and naturally. Through practical experience and expert insight, we've uncovered 5 lifestyle changes that make a real difference, not in theory but in practice. Many older folks across the country have tried them, and within just a few weeks they're sleeping longer, deeper, and waking up with clarity and calm. If you care about aging gracefully and getting restful and uninterrupted sleep, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, how many times do you usually wake up at night to urinate? Your story could help someone else feel less alone. Change 1. Stop drinking water and watery foods within 3 hours before bed. Some habits seem innocent enough, like sipping tea or having a juicy snack before bed. What harm could there be? But if you're waking up multiple times at night to urinate, this small detail might be playing a big role. Water before bed may sound like a healthy choice, but your bladder may think otherwise. In many American households, especially during evening wind-down hours, it's common to sip a calming herbal tea, nibble on chilled melon, or enjoy a light soup. These feel gentle on the stomach, but they still count as fluid, and when consumed too close to bedtime, your kidneys stay active long after your mind wants to rest. Take June, a 72-year-old retired librarian from Missouri. For years, she told me, she'd get up 4 or 5 times every night. She cut back on caffeine, tried sleeping pills, even considered a procedure. Nothing worked. It felt like my bladder was running the show, she said, but then she began to take a closer look at her routine. Chamomile tea at 8 p.m., a bowl of broth with dinner, and a few slices of honeydew after. All innocent things, but collectively, too much fluid too late. Once June made the decision to stop all liquids including tea, water, juice, and watery fruits. After 6 p.m. the difference was dramatic. Within 2 weeks, she was only getting up once during the night. Even better, she woke feeling alert and refreshed. She told me, "It was the first time in years I felt like my brain actually slept." Here's why this works. When your body isn't overloaded with fluids at night, it naturally produces more of a hormone called vasopressin, the very chemical that tells your body to slow down urine production during sleep. With fewer trips to the bathroom, your brain can sink into deeper restorative sleep. That's when memory sharpens, organs repair, and the nervous system resets. If you want to try this, it's simple. Set a liquid curfew. If your bedtime is 9 p.m., finish all drinks by 6. For those taking nighttime medication, keep a small glass by your bed, but only sip enough to swallow pills. And if you have a condition like diabetes or take medication that causes dry mouth, speak with your doctor about how to adjust your fluid intake, focusing on hydration during the day instead. Months after she made the change, June smiled and said, "I never thought something so small would give me my nights back. I sleep soundly. I wake up clear-headed, and my daughter says I even seem younger lately." What about you? Do you usually sip a tea or eat fruit after dinner? Tell us below. Your story might help someone else finally reclaim their sleep. Change 2. eating late dinners and diuretic foods that silently wake your bladder. In many households across the U.S., especially for those over 60, dinner doesn't always happen early. It's not unusual for someone to eat around 8 or even 9 p.m., followed by a light snack or a cup of warm tea to aid digestion. It feels comforting, even like a reward after a long day. But this common routine might be the very reason you're waking up again and again through the night. I've spoken with dozens of older adults from New Jersey to Texas who shared nearly identical stories. I wake up 3, sometimes 4 times at night to use the bathroom. And no matter how long I sleep, I'm still exhausted when I wake up. At first glance, it's easy to blame aging. But the real problem? It was sitting right on their dinner plate. When you eat late, especially meals that contain natural diuretics, foods that encourage your body to release fluid, you unknowingly activate your bladder right when your body should be winding down. Ingredients like tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, spinach, parsley, ginger, and even green tea can all have this effect. These foods are healthy, yes, but not before bed. Let me share the story of Marvin, a 68-year-old retired bus driver from Arizona. He was in the habit of eating dinner around 8:30 p.m., then having a late-night snack about an hour later, usually a few slices of cucumber with salt, a bit of cheese, and a cup of ginger tea. It didn't seem like much, but like clockwork, he was waking at 1 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and 5 a.m. I figured it was just part of getting older, he said. But my brain always felt foggy the next day. I couldn't focus even during simple tasks. I gently encouraged him to shift dinner to before 6:30 p.m. and to avoid any fluids or diuretic foods after 4 p.m. Within just 10 days, Marvin was sleeping nearly 6 hours straight. By week 3, something remarkable happened. The swelling in his ankles, which had persisted for months, had vanished. He said, "I didn't just sleep better. I felt like my body had finally stopped fighting me." There's a good reason for this. When you give your digestive system enough time to process a meal before bed, your body transitions more smoothly into rest. But when digestion overlaps with the time your kidneys are also trying to regulate fluids, the system gets overwhelmed. Your kidneys ramp up activity, leading to, you guessed it, more urine production and more sleep disruption. Another overlooked factor is salt. Many American dinners, especially processed or seasoned dishes, contain hidden sodium. Your body holds on to that salt during the day and then starts releasing it at night, pulling water along with it. That's another reason why late-night wake-ups happen without warning. Now, I understand that not everyone can eat dinner early. Sometimes family schedules, medication, timing, or routines make it difficult. If that's your situation, talk to your doctor about personalized options. But if you can adjust your dinner to between 5:30 and aim for lighter meals that are easier to digest, soft proteins, simple grains, or vegetables like sweet potatoes or zucchini, you'll be surprised at how powerful this one shift can be. Marvin told me later, beaming, "I honestly thought I was just stuck with bad sleep. But just by eating dinner earlier and skipping my tea, I feel like I got my health back." Even my wife noticed. She said, "You're not snoring like you used to." That smile in his voice said it all. So now I ask you, when do you usually have dinner? Do you enjoy any tea or fruit after 7 p.m.? Let us know in the comments. Because sometimes, it's not the big changes that matter, it's the small ones we stick with that create the biggest peace. Change 3: the just-in-case bathroom visit. A quiet habit that may be training your body the wrong way. Have you developed the habit of using the bathroom right before bed, even if you don't actually feel the need? For many older adults, this has become a nighttime ritual. "I just go to be safe," they'll say, like Ellen, a 74-year-old widow from Michigan. "I figure if I empty my bladder before bed, I'll sleep better." At first, that seems reasonable. But here's what most people don't realize. This very habit might be making your sleep worse, not better. You see, your bladder isn't just a passive container. It's a smart, flexible organ that learns how and when to send signals based on your routine. When you repeatedly empty it, even when it's not full, you're training your body to respond to smaller and smaller volumes of urine. Over time, your bladder gets used to waking you up at night, even when it's holding just a small amount. Normally, A healthy bladder in an older adult can hold around 300 to 500 milliliters. That's more than a full cup. But if you constantly go just in case, your body might start sending urgency signals for just 100 or 150 milliliters, barely half a glass. And that means broken sleep, even when there's no real reason to wake up. That's exactly what Ellen experienced. After her husband passed away, she moved in with her daughter and son-in-law. Out of courtesy, she made it a habit to quietly visit the bathroom before bed, hoping not to disturb the household at night. "I didn't want to wake anyone," she explained. But the irony was painful. She still woke up every couple of hours, feeling like her bladder was full, and yet nothing seemed to help. With her doctor's guidance, Ellen began a process called bladder retraining. She was encouraged to only go to the bathroom when she genuinely felt the urge. On nights when she felt uncertain, she used simple calming techniques: soft music, deep breathing, and sometimes thumbing through a devotional or an old favorite book until the sensation passed. Slowly but surely, her body began to unlearn the false signals. Within just 2 weeks, Ellen started sleeping 5 hours straight. "I didn't just get better sleep," she told me. "I felt like I had my independence back." Her mornings felt lighter, her anxiety eased, and most of all, she no longer went to bed dreading the night. Ellen's story isn't unique. Many seniors unknowingly train their bladder into patterns of oversensitivity. But the beautiful thing is, those patterns can be untrained. When your bladder learns to hold again, your sleep deepens. And with deeper sleep, your brain clears, your energy returns, and your mood lifts. Here's something simple to try. Only go to the bathroom before sleep if you truly feel the need. If it's just nerves or habit, pause. Sit quietly for a moment. Focus on your breath. Maybe even recite a quiet prayer or use a meditation app. You might discover that your bladder was never asking, your mind was. Of course, if you're on medications like diuretics, or have health conditions like an enlarged prostate or overactive bladder, speak with your doctor. And if mobility is an issue, keep a night-safe container close to your bed, but use it only when necessary, not automatically. When I checked in with Ellen a few months later, she grinned and said, "Sleep doesn't rule me anymore. I rule my sleep." That quiet confidence was written all over her face. And the best part, it all began with a single change. Not to her body, but to a habit she didn't even realize was working against her. Change 2 the way you sleep, posture and pillow support that can either soothe or strain your bladder. Sometimes it's the most familiar habits, the ones we've held for decades, that quietly work against us. One of those habits? The way we position our bodies at night. Across the country, from small homes in Mississippi to quiet suburbs in Oregon, many older adults continue to sleep in the same posture they've used since youth, not realizing it may now be triggering nighttime wake-ups. It's more common than people think. Sleeping on your stomach, curling tightly on one side, or resting without proper pillow support can all create subtle pressure across your lower abdomen. That pressure gently presses against the bladder, confusing your body into thinking it's time to release urine, even if your bladder isn't truly full. Another factor? Pillows. Some older adults use thick, high pillows to support neck pain, while others choose soft ones that allow the head to sink deep. But poor head and spine alignment doesn't just affect comfort, it affects circulation. When you lie down at night, the fluid your legs held during the day begins to move back toward your upper body. If your sleep posture or pillow setup interferes with this process, the kidneys become more active, urine production increases, and the cycle of waking continues. I think of Walter, a 71-year-old retired Army medic from South Carolina. For over 30 years, he swore by sleeping on his stomach. "It's how I slept through all those nights in the field," he told me. But recently, he began waking up 2 or 3 times every night. At first, he worried it was his prostate. His doctor ordered tests, but nothing showed abnormal. That's when his daughter gently suggested he try changing how he slept. Walter shifted to sleeping on his left side, using a medium-height pillow to support his neck. He placed one pillow between his knees to help his hips align and another small cushion behind his back to prevent rolling over. At first, it felt unfamiliar, even awkward, but within 2 weeks, His nighttime bathroom trips dropped by half, and by the end of the month, there were nights he didn't get up at all. "I didn't think turning my body a little would make such a big difference," he said with quiet disbelief. But the impact was far greater than he expected. His back pain eased. He stopped snoring so loudly, and he stopped waking up with that sore, heavy feeling in his lower back. For the first time in years, his mornings felt light. If you're curious to try the same, it's simple, but requires care. Sleep on your left side to ease pressure on your bladder and improve digestion. Choose a moderate pillow height, not so high that your neck bends, not so low that your chin tilts downward. A knee pillow helps your spine stay neutral. And if you're transitioning away from stomach sleeping, try using soft barriers on each side to help your body adjust gently over time. For those with joint pain or arthritis, investing in an orthopedic pillow or memory foam bedding can bring both comfort and relief. And if you've been told you snore heavily or stop breathing during sleep, it's best to avoid lying flat on your back. Talk to your doctor about posture support for sleep apnea or other conditions. Walter now jokes that all he needed wasn't another prescription, just better pillows. "I used to think aging meant giving up rest. Now I know it just means learning how to rest smarter." So before you assume your body is failing you, ask yourself, how are you laying it down each night? The smallest adjustments can restore hours of sleep. And more than that, they can restore your confidence in your own body again. Change on 5. Your room temperature and sleepwear. Small choices that deeply influence your sleep and bladder. In many households, especially during warm seasons, older adults often fall into a routine they've held onto for decades. Sleeping in thick pajamas, bundling up under multiple blankets, and turning off the fan to avoid the chill. Margaret, a 69-year-old retired schoolteacher from Georgia, summed it up best. "I've always liked to sleep warm. It feels safe. I've done it since my children were babies." But what she didn't realize, and what many seniors don't know, is that sleeping too warm can actually be a major cause of frequent nighttime urination. Here's why. Your body naturally lowers its core temperature by about 1 to 2 degrees Celsius while you sleep. This subtle cooling helps your brain relax, slows your heart rate, and reduces urine production overnight. But when your bedroom is too warm, or when your body is wrapped in heat-trapping clothing and bedding, your internal thermostat can't adjust. That results in heat stress, which disrupts your sleep and forces your kidneys into overdrive. The blood vessels in your body begin to widen in the heat, redirecting more fluid toward the kidneys. And just like that, your bladder becomes more active than it should be during rest, leading to multiple nighttime wake-ups that leave you drained and disoriented come morning. Margaret didn't realize this connection at first. Even on humid summer nights, when the indoor temperature climbed into the 80s, she wore long-sleeved fleece tops and heavy socks, layered under 2 quilts. "I thought sweating meant I was getting good sleep," she said. But she was waking up 4 or 5 times every night, overheated and racing to the bathroom. Nothing seemed to help until her daughter shared an article about body temperature and sleep. Margaret made a simple change. She switched to breathable cotton sleepwear, opened a window to allow fresh air in, and swapped her heavy blanket for 2 light cotton sheets she could layer as needed. Within a week, her nighttime bathroom trips dropped to 2. By the 3rd week, she was sleeping through the night without interruption. Even her blood pressure stabilized. "I had no idea something as small as what I wore to bed could affect my bladder," she said. "Now I sleep cooler, I wake up calmer, and I feel rested in a way I haven't in years." And the best part, you don't need an expensive air conditioner. Even a small fan, a cracked window, or switching to light, breathable nightwear can allow your body to do what it's naturally designed to do: cool down, slow down, and reset during sleep. If you feel cold in the early morning, just keep a light blanket at your bedside, something easy to pull on and off as needed. Most people never imagine that a fleece top or heavy quilt might be causing restless nights. But the truth is, these small details, temperature, clothing, airflow, can quietly decide whether you sleep peacefully or wake up 5 times in the dark. So now, dear friend, we've walked through 5 simple changes. Each one may seem small on its own. An earlier dinner, 1 less glass of tea, a pillow repositioned, or a lighter pair of pajamas. But together they build something powerful, a routine that supports your sleep, your bladder, your brain, and your heart. Maybe you've noticed it already, that sense of tiredness that clings even after a full night in bed. The quiet fog in the mind. But here's the hopeful truth. Healing doesn't always come in the form of medication or machine. Sometimes it arrives through kindness. Kindness toward your own body. Through attention. Through change. Through trying again. If you begin applying even one of these habits tonight, your body will thank you. You might not see the results overnight, but stay with it. In a few days or weeks, you may find yourself waking with a clearer head, steadier feet, and a peaceful heart. Because no matter where you live, in a quiet home in Iowa or a busy